Good day. My name is Carl Jones. I prefer CJ. And today I will be sharing the remarkable life and educational legacy of Benjamin Franklin. We've always learned about him in elementary school, middle school, even in high school, but for this particular assignment, we have to go in depth with the impact that he had. So before I get into that, I want to do a small little biography with some details that may or may not matter, but overall, I think they'll be worth listening to. Benjamin Franklin, known as one of the American founding fathers, Franklin was a trailblazer who emphasized practicality, civic responsibility, and lifelong learning. His ideas have shaped modern education in profound ways. Benjamin Franklin was born in Boston, Massachusetts. He was the 15th of 17 children, born on January 17th, 1706, and unfortunately died April 17, 1790. He was an American polymath, inventor, writer, scientist, and statesman. Franklin also apprenticed as a printer under his brother and later established his own successful printing business in Philadelphia. He is known for his contributions to science, such as his experiments with electricity, including the famous kite experiment, which proved that lightning is a form of electrical discharge. Franklin also invented the lightning rod, biological glasses, and the Franklin stove. As a writer, he published Poor Richard's, a collection of witty sayings and practical advice, and in his autobiography, which remains a classic of American literature, Franklin was a key figure in drafting the Declaration of Independence and the U.S. Constitution. Now, let's get into the key educational ideas, the institutions he's founded, and why his work remains relevant today as it did in the past. His practical education. Franklin believed that education should focus on preparing individuals for the real world. Subjects like science, business, and technology was central in his philosophy. For instance, his famous kite experiment wasn't just about discovering electricity. It demonstrated how practical knowledge can drive innovation. His civic responsibility. Franklin emphasized teaching morals and ethics. He understood that informed and virtuous citizens are essential to a thriving democracy. His schools incorporated these values in their curriculum. And I like how we were talking about that in our previous assignment with and ooh, secular and sacred, the divide with morals and ethics. I just had to add that up in there. His lifelong learning. Franklin's passion for learning didn't end with formal education. He established public libraries and literary clubs, creating spaces where everyone could learn, regardless of social status. This approach resonates strongly with modern ideas about accessibility in education. Just because you have more power and more money doesn't mean you should be able to have a better education than others. Education is, to me, one of the most important things. But again, we're focusing on him. Now, his founding institutions, Franklin's Academy and College of Philadelphia, now the University of Pennsylvania, was revolutionary. It combined classical education with practical skills, setting a new standard for universities. His public libraries. Franklin founded the Library of Company of Philadelphia, America's first lending library. This innovation gave people access to books and knowledge, a cornerstone of literacy today. His science and education, his belief in scientific inquiry led to incorporating science into education. Franklin's legacy can be seen in the rise of STEM fields globally. Now, some of the critiques, his external critiques, were they would argue that Franklin's emphasis on practicality sometimes overshadowed creative and philosophical studies. While his focus was valuable, a broader approach might have been balanced. Now, my own personal critique, I admire his vision and I admired his vision for practical education. But I believe integrating art and abstract thought could create more holistic learning experiences. Sometimes you have to do a little bit more to get more, and I feel like to an extent he only led with practicality, which covers some but not all. In conclusion, Benjamin Franklin's philosophy of education as practical, civic minded, and lifelong had an enduring impact. He showed us that education is not just about personal success, but also about building a better society. As Franklin said, an investment in knowledge pays the best interest. Let's carry forward his legacy. Thank you. Have a good one.